Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and let your thoughts still. Now ask yourself, not with words, but with silent knowing. What if I told you that everything you've ever wanted is already yours? Not because you worked hard for it, not because you earned it. You've been walking through life holding a golden ticket and never scratching the surface. You've been begging for doors to open when you were the architect of the building all along. The truth is simple. You are your lottery ticket. You are the code, the answer, the key. Not in the future, not someday, but now. The moment you feel that inner shift, the moment you believe without seeing, you've already won. The outer world is just catching up to your inner conviction. So stop waiting for the phone call. Stop waiting for the right time. Stop waiting for the numbers to align. The numbers are you. The alignment is internal. Sit in the silence and feel what it feels like to already be chosen, not by luck, but by identity. Walk into the room like the miracle already happened, because it did the moment you claimed it. The world reflects not your wishes, but your assumptions. So assume something greater. Assume wealth. Assume love. Assume peace. And carry yourself accordingly, not like a beggar hoping to be picked, but like the winner who already has the prize in hand. The jackpot was never a number, it was your realization. You were the winning ticket the whole time. All that's left to do is cash in. Everything you desire already exists in the invisible realm of imagination. You don't need to earn it, chase it, or wait for someone to give you permission to have it. It is not outside of you. It never was. The moment you conceive of a desire, it is evidence that it already exists in another dimension, waiting for you to claim it. Not by force, but by faith. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is creation. It is the sacred act of seeing what the eyes cannot yet see, hearing what the ears cannot yet hear, and knowing what logic cannot explain. When you close your eyes and dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you're doing more than playing pretend. You are touching the substance of that desire in its truest form. The world will tell you to look outward, to strive, to compete, to grind, but the real power lies in turning within. You have been conditioned to believe that imagination is child's play, a fantasy, a waste of time, but nothing could be further from the truth. Imagination is the original source of everything you've ever called real. Every building you walk into, every book you've read, every invention that changed your life began as a vision in someone's mind. They didn't wait for proof before they believed. They believed and the proof appeared. You are no different. The only difference between you and those you admire is that they dared to trust what they could not yet see. They lived as though their imagination was reality, and so it became real. The same power flows through you. The same breath, the same spark, the same divine intelligence. It is not reserved for the few. It is accessible to all, but only the bold use it with confidence. You must stop asking if it's possible and begin declaring that it already is. Let others wait for signs. You must become the sign. You must move through life with the quiet confidence that your inner world is the blueprint and the outer world is simply following your instructions. Imagination is the instruction. It is the script, the template, the silent architect behind everything you will ever experience. When you sit alone and imagine the life you want to live, you are not escaping reality, you are creating it. And the clearer your inner picture, the faster the outer world bends to match it. The only delay is your doubt. The only block is your disbelief. But the moment you decide, truly decide, that what you imagine is real, the game changes. You no longer chase, you no longer force, you no longer hope and behave. And in that knowing, life rearranges itself. People show up, opportunities arrive, coincidences become normal. Why? Because you're no longer in resistance. You're no longer questioning the how. You're dwelling in the end, where the desire is already fulfilled, and the only thing left to do is enjoy the unfolding. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law. The inner creates the outer. And your imagination is not some fleeting dream. It is the seed of your new reality. Water it daily with belief. Nurture it with feeling. Protect it from doubt, and watch how effortlessly it grows. Convince anyone. You do not need approval. You do not need approval. You only need to feel it real, because once you do, the rest must follow. That is how it works. That is how it has always worked. Your imagination is not a game of chance. It is the winning number. And you already hold the ticket. The greatest mistake you can make is to seek what you already possess. And yet, that is exactly what most people are doing. Spending their lives chasing love, success, validation, and abundance, all the while carrying the seed of those very things within themselves. This world has trained you to believe that you must strive for worth, beg for approval, and chase after recognition. But the truth is, you were never meant to chase anything. You were always meant to realize what you already are. You do not chase the win, you are the win. When you identify with lack, you chase. You chase people who reflect your insecurities. You chase achievements to prove your worth. You chase outcomes, believing that fulfillment lies somewhere outside your grasp. But when you awaken to the truth that you are the prize, the energy reverses. What once ran from you begins to find you. Why? Because you no longer operate from need, you operate from knowing that you are already complete, knowing that your value is not determined by what others see, knowing that everything good flows to you because it flows from you. You become magnetic when you stop needing and start embodying. The world cannot ignore someone who walks with quiet certainty. When you no longer beg, the right people want to stay. When you no longer try to prove yourself, you become undeniable. The most powerful presence in the room is never the one making noise. It's the one who knows they don't need to. You've spent enough time gambling with your identity, enough time trading pieces of yourself for the illusion of belonging, enough time trying to earn the love and respect that should have been yours from the beginning. You are not a commodity. You are not an option. You are the prize. The shift happens when you stop asking, how can I make them choose me? And start asking, do I choose myself? Because when you choose yourself consistently and unapologetically, life begins to mirror that choice. The people who once overlooked you will wonder where your light came from. The opportunities that once eluded you will begin to open without force. It's not magic, it's alignment. You aligned with your worth, and the world had no choice but to respond. There is nothing more powerful than a soul who knows its own value. Not because someone told them, not because the world confirmed it, but because they looked within and decided, I am enough. I am the standard, I am the reward. This isn't arrogance, this is truth. And truth doesn't need to shout, it simply is. When you rest in the awareness of your own worth, the need to chase dissolves. You become still. And from that stillness you attract, not through effort, but through presence. Not through pursuit, but through posture. You were never meant to run after the things you desire. You were meant to become the version of yourself who already has them. That version does not chase. That version understands that everything flows toward the one who walks in wholeness. So let the world spin. Let others exhaust themselves in the pursuit. You do not need to follow. You are not the follower. You are not the seeker. You are not the gambler. You are the prize. and it's time you start living like it. Feel now what it feels like to have already won. That is not a suggestion. It is the secret. It is the key that unlocks the unseen, the silent code that reshapes your entire world. You've been told to wait until the evidence appears, to hold off your joy until life proves to you that it's safe to celebrate. But that is not how the law works. The law responds to your inner state, not your outer circumstance. You do not feel fulfilled because you receive. You receive because you feel fulfilled. You must dare to feel the end before the beginning has shown up. That is how the jackpot is claimed. Not by force, not by logic, not by luck, but by assumption. And not just intellectual assumption, but emotional, embodied, grounded feeling. You walk in the room already knowing it's yours. You carry the posture of someone who isn't hoping. It's already done. The world cannot withhold from the one who assumes the truth of their desire. It bends and shifts and molds itself around the individual who dares to live from the wish fulfilled. When you imagine something vividly, and then feel the thrill of it as if it were happening now, you are speaking the only language the universe understands. Faith through feeling. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to already have what I desire? Not when will it come? Not how do I make it happen? Just what would it feel like if it were already true? And when you get your answer, you stay there. You let that feeling wrap itself around you like a warm coat. You wear it in silence. You walk with it, sleep with it, breathe with it, until the line between imagination and reality dissolves completely. People believe they must wait for the win before they feel victorious. But life doesn't work backwards. It responds not to effort, but to identity. If you want to manifest the jackpot, be it love, abundance, peace, success, you must first assume the identity of the one who already holds it. And the fastest way to embody that identity is through feeling. Feel now what it's like to wake up in your dream home. Feel now what it's like to see the love of your life smiling at you from across the table. Feel now what it's like to open your account and see the wealth already there. Your mind may argue, your senses may protest, but you're not listening to them anymore. You're listening to the deeper reality, the one that lives in imagination, where all things begin. Do not concern yourself with appearances. Appearances are nothing more than delayed reflections of old beliefs. If you keep reacting to what is, you keep recreating it. But when you rise into the unseen realm of feeling, you step out of the loop. You interrupt the cycle. You install a new pattern, and the outer world must adjust itself accordingly. This is not denial, it is creation. You are not pretending, you are placing your attention on what is real in spirit. And spirit is the only substance that shapes matter. You don't wait to be free to feel free, you feel free, and freedom finds you. You don't wait to be chosen to feel worthy, you feel worthy, and life confirms your choice. The jackpot is not just the thing you desire, it is the state of being that says, I already have it. That state is available to you right now, in this moment. No delay, no waiting, just decision. Assume it, feel it, live from it, and watch how the vault opens. Not because you begged, but because you remembered who you are. The feeling is the access, the feeling is the proof, and the feeling is the jackpot. Life is not happening to you, it is unfolding from you. You are not here to observe the world and react, you are here to create it and direct. Every event, every person, every condition you encounter is but a mirror. It reflects not the random chaos of fate, but the precise order of your inner assumptions. The world is not independent of you, it is dependent on you. It flows from your consciousness like a river flows from its source. And that source, beloved, is within. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the author of circumstances. Until you accept this truth, you will continue to live in reaction, responding to shadows, fighting illusions, blaming forces that have no true authority over you. But once you awaken, even slightly, to the knowing that life responds to your state of being, you begin to reclaim the past and stop editing the past and start writing the future. The world has taught you to look outward, to judge your progress by the evidence you see, to believe only what the senses confirm. But senses are late. They echo yesterday's thoughts, last week's feelings, and the patterns you've long forgotten you even repeated. When you live by sight, you become a passive spectator of what already is. But when you live by vision, you become the creator of what will be. What you consistently feel, believe, and assume within yourself becomes the mold into which life must pour itself. It has no choice. It cannot disobey the command of the self. If you believe you are overlooked, life will echo that belief. If you believe you are blessed, the world will bow to that conviction. Not because it decides for you, but because you have already decided. You are the projector, not the screen. Change the real within, and the scene outside must follow. This is not about positive thinking. This is not about pretending that pain doesn't exist or dressing up fear in pretty words. It is about inner dominion. It is about understanding that no matter how strong the winds of life may blow, your internal state is the throne, and from that throne, you rule. To live as the creator is to take radical responsibility. It is to say, if it is showing up in my life, it must be a reflection of something within me, known or unknown, conscious or unconscious. And this is not blame, it is power, because if it came from you, it can be changed by you. There is no greater freedom than knowing you can alter your reality by altering your perception. And there is no greater prison than believing the world is fixed and you are at its mercy. But you are not at the mercy of anything. You are the cause, not the effect. So how do you change the outer? You go inward. You withdraw your attention from what you do not want, and you feed only the idea you wish to see made flesh. You imagine it, feel it, live from it, even before it appears, especially before it appears. Because that's the essence of creation, trusting the unseen more than the seen. Stop waiting for life to convince you it's working. You are not the audience, you are the director. The world is your stage, and your beliefs are the script. If the scene displeases you, don't argue with the actors. Rewrite the lines within. And when you do, watch how effortlessly the play shifts. You are not here to observe. You are here to express. You are not here to adapt. You are here to shape. You are not here to react. You are here to create. And when you finally stop looking at the world as something outside of you and begin to recognize it as your own reflection, you'll stop trying to change it by force, you'll change it by becoming something new. Because the world does not show you what you want, it shows you what you are. And when you change who you are, the whole world must follow. The seed doesn't beg the sun to rise, nor does it plead with the soil to open. It simply rests in the truth of its nature. It knows without proof, without evidence, that its unfolding is inevitable. So must you learn to do the same. When you plant the seed of desire in the fertile ground of your imagination, your only task is to rest in the knowing that it is done, to detach from how it will come, when it will come, and in what form it will arrive. You are not here to chase outcomes, you are here to trust the process. So many delay their blessings by clinging too tightly to them. They pray for something and then watch the clock. They visualize and then check the mirror, looking for signs. They declare it is done only to secretly wonder if it's working. This is not trust. This is doubt in disguise. The moment you ask, believe. And once you believe, rest. Detachment is not indifference. It is not carelessness. It is not apathy. It is sacred confidence. It is the quiet power of one who knows they are aligned with the source that never fails. You do not have to keep digging up the seed to see if it's growing. You do not have to wrestle the universe into compliance. What is yours by law is already moving toward you. The only thing that delays it is your resistance. What is resistance? It is obsession with the outcome. It is checking, waiting, doubting, fearing, needing. It is the vibration of lack disguised as spiritual practice. But when you truly know, when you embody the feeling that it is already yours, there is no need to force. You no longer ask, where is it? Because you already possess it in your spirit. You have taken it into yourself, and what you accept as true within must externalize without. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the methods. Let go of the mental chatter that says it must happen this way by this date or through that person. That is not your job. Your job is to accept the end, to feel the fulfillment now, and to walk in peace. When you detach from the outcome, you signal to the universe that you are complete. And when you are complete, you become magnetic. You no longer seek, you attract. You no longer strive, you receive. Not because you've abandoned the desire, but because you've merged with it so fully that it no longer feels separate from you. This is the stillness that creates worlds. This is the rest that manifests mountains. You can only do so much in action, but in consciousness there are no limits. In consciousness you are already there. You don't wish for it. You live in it. You don't work for it. You become it. And because you are it, you no longer need to grip it. What you grip with fear slips away. What you hold with faith comes effortlessly. You must become like the seed, certain in silence, unwavering in the dark, knowing that the sun is rising even when clouds cover the sky, knowing that the roots are forming even if no one sees. The greatest manifestations bloom not from frantic action, but from deep inner rest. And rest does not mean inaction. It means trust. It means I have done the spiritual work. I have assumed the feeling. I have accepted the truth. Now I watch it come to me. When you master detachment, you free yourself from the emotional roller coaster of hoping and waiting. You step into a state of being where desire and fulfillment are one. And from this place, all things come, not through striving, but through surrender. So stop begging the sun to rise, it already is. Stop asking when the door will open, it already has. Rest as the seed rests, not in doubt, but in knowing. Walk as though the ground beneath your feet has already been blessed. Talk as though your voice carries the echo of answered prayers. Think with the quiet boldness of someone who knows the outcome is certain. Breathe as if the very air around you is charged with favor and fulfillment. This is how the fortunate move through life, not because they are lucky, but because they have assumed the identity of the chosen. Fortune does not come to those who wait in desperation. It comes to those who accept its presence before it becomes visible. The world mirrors your internal state, not your external effort. When you believe yourself to be chosen, when you take on the posture of one who already possesses what they desire, the world has no choice but to align with that belief. This is the great secret. It manifests when you live from the end, not chase the beginning. So many keep their dreams at a distance by placing them in the future. They say, one day, or when I have this, I will be that. But the chosen don't wait for proof. They walk in proof. They walk in the energy of fulfillment now. Not because they are pretending, but because they understand the truth. Once you believe you are it, you become it. There is a difference between wanting and knowing. Wanting keeps you outside the gate, peering in, hoping to be invited. Knowing walks through the gate as if it's already home. You must stop waiting for permission to be blessed. You must stop behaving like a stranger to your own desires. If you have seen it in your imagination, if you have felt it as real in the sanctuary of your heart, then it is yours already. The only step left is to live like it. The way you carry yourself speaks before your words do. The way you rise from bed, the way you dress, the way you handle delays or disappointments, all of it reveals what you believe about yourself. The chosen don't crumble under delay. They don't shrink in the face of silence. They understand that delay is not denial, that what they are waiting for is already on its way, because they've already claimed it within. Acting like the fortunate is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is spiritual accuracy. The universe responds not to begging, not to panic, not to striving. It responds to certainty, to calm, unshakable faith that knows what is mine cannot miss me. And so, you must become the version of yourself who already has the thing, not someday, but today, in your inner world, in your attitude, in your posture. You don't wait to be wealthy to feel secure. You don't wait to be loved to feel worthy. You don't wait for opportunities to feel important. You feel it now. And in feeling it now, you draw it to you without effort, because you are no longer trying to get something. You are living from having it. Everything changes when you change your concept of self. You are not just someone hoping things turn around. You are the turning point. You are not someone who might be lucky. You are the one fortune has already found. It found you the moment you believed, the moment you accepted that your inner world creates your outer world. So live like the chosen. Sit at the table in your imagination and taste the feast that's already yours. Walk as though your feet are kissed by destiny. Speak like someone who knows that heaven backs every word, because it does. You don't need signs. You are the sign. You don't need proof. You are the evidence. You don't need to wish. You only need to be. And once you become, the world will bow. Not because it gave you the blessing, but because it had no choice. You claimed it first. You were never meant to wait for your miracle. You were meant to be it. You are not the one hoping to win the lottery of life. You are the lottery ticket. The winning number is not found outside of you. It is your imagination, your faith, your assumption. The prize is not the house, the car, the love, the success. It's the realization that all of it already exists within you. Yeah. You do not chase, because you are the one being chased by all that you've dared to believe. You don't ask if it's working, you assume it's already done. You don't look around, you look within, because that is where your power lives. Act like the one who already holds the fortune. Feel the thrill before the result. Walk in the fullness of your desire. Trust like the seed, trust the soil. And above all, remember, the world only reflects what you've accepted as truth. So accept the truth now. You are the prize. You are the winner. You are the chosen one. Thank you for listening. And thank you for remembering who you truly are. Close your eyes for a moment and step into the awareness that time is nothing but an illusion. The only moment that exists is now, and within this moment lies the power to reshape your reality in an instant. You have been taught to beg, to wait, to believe that miracles are rare events granted only to the worthy. But I tell you, miracles are natural. They are the effortless unfolding of the unseen into the seen, the transition of imagination into reality. Do you wish for a miracle within 24 hours? then let go of effort and step into the knowing that it is already yours. There is no waiting, no hoping, no doubting, only the certainty that what you have claimed is now a fact. You do not need to struggle. You do not need to plead. You only need to assume. The moment you declare it as done and accept it fully within your mind, you set forces into motion beyond what the physical eye can perceive. The key is feeling. How would you feel if the miracle had already arrived? Would you be relieved? Would you feel peace, joy, excitement? Step into that feeling now, as if there is no other possibility. Hold on to it, embody it, and let it become your state of being. Time bends to the one who knows that time does not exist. The moment you claim something is yours, it must appear. Not because you forced it, but because reality has no choice but to reflect your assumption. Go forth, knowing your miracle has already arrived. Wake up tomorrow with certainty in your heart. Watch as the impossible bends before you, as the unseen becomes visible. Miracles are not distant. They are here now, waiting for you to accept them. And in 24 hours, you will see what was always meant to be yours. What you assume to be true with unwavering conviction becomes your reality. The moment you accept it as done, the universe rearranges itself accordingly. This is not philosophy, nor is it mere optimism. It is the fundamental principle by which your world takes shape. The unseen force that governs all things does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the convictions of your heart. Every experience you have ever had was first accepted as a possibility within your mind before it appeared in your life. Whether consciously or unconsciously, you assumed it to be real, and so it became. The truth is, you are always assuming something, always shaping your future with the silent beliefs you hold. Some assume misfortune, scarcity, and struggle, and so their world reflects those assumptions with precision. Others assume success, love, and abundance, and reality bends accordingly. The speed at which your assumptions manifest is determined not by external conditions, but by the depth of your certainty. The moment you embrace something as true, not as a wish, not as a hope, but as an undeniable fact, the unseen forces immediately set events in motion to bring it into visibility. There is no delay except in your own wavering. It is only when you second guess, when you allow doubt to creep in, that you prolong the process. Understand that the universe does not work through resistance or struggle. It works through alignment. You do not need to fight for what is already yours. You do not need to chase what you already possess within. The moment you declare something as yours in absolute faith, reality has no choice but to mirror that conviction. This is not magic, nor is it coincidence. It is law. When you assume something with certainty, everything around you begins to shift, even in ways you cannot yet perceive. People, circumstances, and events are all moved like pieces on a chessboard to align with your assumption. You may not see the full picture immediately, but that is irrelevant. The moment you accept it as done, the process has already begun. Look at the world around you. Everything that now exists, from the simplest objects to the grandest achievements, was once just an assumption in someone's mind. The device you are using to read this, the buildings that surround you, even the relationships in your life, all were formed first in the unseen before they took shape in the physical. Nothing exists that was not first assumed into being. So how do you apply this? How do you take command of this principle and use it deliberately, rather than letting unconscious assumptions shape your life by default? You begin by choosing your assumptions with intention. Instead of assuming difficulty, assume ease. Instead of assuming failure, assume success. Assume that what you desire is not something far off in the future, not something you must struggle for, but something that is already yours. Assume it fully, deeply, completely, with no room for contradiction. Once you do this, you must live in that assumption. This does not mean forcing external actions, but aligning your inner world with the truth you have declared. You must think, feel, and act as if it were already so. If you have assumed wealth, you do not allow thoughts of lack to dominate your mind. If you have assumed love, you do not entertain fears of loneliness. You persist in your assumption until reality conforms. Some will ask, but what if nothing happens? What if I assume and nothing changes? To this I say, your assumption is not real to you yet. If you truly assumed it, you would not question it. A person does not look at the sky and wonder if the sun exists. It is a certainty. When your assumption reaches this level of conviction, when there is no space for doubt, it must manifest. This is why so many fail. They assume only half-heartedly, allowing the evidence of their senses to dictate what they believe. But the senses only reflect past assumptions. They are not indicators of what is possible. The only way to create change is to assume beyond what your eyes see, beyond what your circumstances suggest. You must hold to the unseen truth until it becomes visible. The process is immediate, but the appearance of results depends on the steadiness of your conviction. For some, change happens in an instant because they allow no contradiction in their mind. For others, it takes time because they waver, shifting between belief and doubt, certainty and hesitation. The only thing that determines how fast your world changes is how completely you accept the new reality. There is nothing outside of you shaping your world. It is your assumptions and your assumptions alone that create your reality. Accept this fully, and you will see just how immediate the law truly is. Do not wait for proof. Feel the reality of your desire now as if it has already happened. This is the secret that bridges the gap between the unseen and the seen, the intangible and the tangible. Your feelings are not mere responses to circumstances. They are the architects of your reality. What you feel deeply and persistently becomes the very foundation upon which your world is built. Most people wait for evidence before they allow themselves to believe. They look to the outside world for confirmation, seeking signs, waiting for things to change before they permit themselves to feel the joy, relief, or excitement of having their desire. But this is the opposite of creation. Reality is not something you react to, it is something you generate from within. If you wait for proof, you will be waiting forever, because the world outside of you is only a reflection of what you accept as true inside. To live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled is to step into the state of being where your desire is already a fact. It is not about daydreaming or pretending, it is about knowing. It is about assuming the inner posture of someone who already possesses what they seek. When you can do this fully and completely, without contradiction, reality has no choice but to conform. When you remember a past experience vividly, you can summon the emotions you felt in that moment, even if the event itself is long gone. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the dominant feeling. If this is true of the past, it is equally true of the future. You can choose to feel right now the emotions of a future that has not yet appeared, and in doing so, you call it forth into existence. Imagine for a moment that the thing you desire most has already been given to you. How would you feel? Would you be at peace? Would you be elated? Would you feel a sense of security, gratitude, or fulfillment? Capture that feeling and let it take root within you. Let it settle into your being as your new natural state. The more you occupy this state, the more real it becomes, until it is no longer a mere idea, but an inevitable reality. Many people approach this principle with doubt, thinking, how can I feel something that isn't real yet? But that is the very misunderstanding that keeps them trapped. The only reason something is not yet real to you is because you have not fully accepted it within. Once you do, the world must rearrange itself to match your new state. This is not wishful thinking or self-deception. It is the precise mechanism by which all change occurs. Think of the person who is constantly worried about failure. They do not wait for failure to occur before they feel anxious. They feel it in advance, expecting it, assuming it, embodying it. And what happens? Their reality reflects their assumption. The same principle applies in reverse. When you assume the feeling of success, of love, of wealth, of health, whatever it is you desire, you set the stage for its manifestation. The external world is nothing more than a mirror. It can only reflect what is established within. This is why it is essential to persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, even when the senses suggest otherwise. The greatest mistake people make is allowing what they see to dictate what they believe. But what they see is merely the outpicturing of past beliefs, past assumptions, past states of being. If you continue to react to your current reality, you will only recreate the same conditions over and over again. The only way to break free is to step into a new state of being before there is any visible reason to do so. Some may ask, but how long must I hold this feeling? The answer is simple: until it becomes natural. Until it feels more real than your current circumstances. Until there is no longer any question in your mind. The moment it feels absolute within you, it will begin to solidify externally. Time is irrelevant. It could take days, hours, or even moments, depending on the depth of your conviction. There is no effort in this process. You do not need to strain or force yourself to believe. You only need to relax into the feeling. Let it wash over you as if you are sinking into a warm, familiar place. Play with the idea of your fulfilled desire as a child would, without resistance, without questioning. Make it real to yourself in imagination, and soon it will be real to you in experience. At every moment you have a choice. You can continue to dwell in the state of lack, of waiting, of hoping, which only reinforces the absence of your desire, or you can choose to dwell in the state of fulfillment, knowing that the mere act of assuming it brings it to life. The choice is always yours. So do not wait. Feel the reality of your desire now. Let the emotions of already having it fill you completely. Trust that what you have assumed is already set in motion, and know that the world will bend to meet your new state of being. The bridge between the unseen and the seen is not effort, it is feeling. And the moment you step fully into that feeling, your reality will begin to shift. The world you experience is only a reflection of your inner consciousness. Everything you see, touch, and interact with is shaped by the state of mind you dwell in. Your external reality is not separate from you. It is a mirror that reveals what you have been imagining, feeling, and assuming to be true. Imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. It is not a fleeting daydream or a meaningless escape from reality. It is the very force that brings reality into existence. The life you are living today was first conceived in your imagination, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every experience, every encounter, every condition surrounding you now is the result of thoughts and images you have entertained within yourself. The question is not whether imagination works. It always does. The real question is whether you are using it intentionally to create what you desire, or carelessly allowing it to create what you fear. To transform your life, you must first transform your inner world. You must deliberately and vividly imagine your desire as if it were already yours. This is not wishful thinking. It is the mechanism by which all change occurs. The moment you accept an imagined scene as real, your subconscious mind takes it as a command, and the world begins to move in accordance with it. When you imagine, engage all your senses. Do not merely see your desire as an image in your mind. Step into it, feel it, hear the sounds around you, touch the textures, inhale the scents. If you desire a beautiful home, do not just see its exterior, walk through its rooms in your imagination. Feel the smoothness of the walls as you run your hand along them. Listen to the echo of your footsteps on the floor. Smell the fresh flowers arranged on the table. The more vividly you engage your senses, the more real it becomes to your subconscious, and the more quickly it manifests in your reality. You must allow your imagined scene to saturate your being. It is not enough to visualize it once and then return to old patterns of doubt and disbelief. You must dwell in it. Return to it. Make it a place you visit so often in your mind that it becomes more familiar to you than your present circumstances. When you persist in this state, your outer world has no choice but to conform. Many people believe they are trapped by their circumstances, but this is only because they have accepted their current reality as the ultimate truth. They have forgotten that their world is nothing more than a projection of their inner consciousness. If you change the inner picture, the outer world must reflect it. It may appear that circumstances change on their own, but in truth, nothing happens by accident. Every shift in your reality begins with a shift in your imagination. Doubt is the greatest enemy of creation. The moment you allow uncertainty to enter, you disrupt the process. You may imagine your desire with great clarity, but if you immediately follow it with thoughts of fear, hesitation, or disbelief, you counteract your own creation. This is why you must guard your imagination and refuse to entertain anything that contradicts your wish fulfilled. Consider the nature of a dream. When you are dreaming, everything feels real. You do not question whether the dream is happening, you experience it fully. Your emotions in the dream are genuine and your reactions are natural. It is only upon waking that you realize it was a dream. But what if this waking life is no different? What if the things you call real are simply persistent dreams brought into being by the power of imagination? Once you grasp this truth, you will see that you are not bound by any condition. You are free to create anew at any moment. The great secret is that imagination does not follow reality. Reality follows imagination. You do not need to wait for circumstances to change before you feel the joy, peace, or confidence of having your desire. You must feel it first, and then reality will shift to match that feeling. Most people live in reaction to the world, allowing external conditions to dictate how they feel. But the awakened soul understands that feelings come first, and the world arranges itself accordingly. This is why it is essential to imagine only what you wish to experience. Do not waste time dwelling on what you fear, resent, or regret, for these too will become real if you give them your attention. Instead, direct your imagination toward beauty, abundance, love, and fulfillment. Assume that all you desire is already yours, and let that assumption shape your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The power is within you now. You do not need permission from anyone, nor do you need to wait for the perfect moment. The only thing required is a decision. To live as though your wish is already fulfilled. Imagine boldly, persist in the feeling, and trust that the world will rearrange itself to reflect your new state of being. This is the law. This is the way creation works. The only limit is the one you place upon yourself. Miracles do not follow logic, nor do they adhere to the rigid timelines of the rational mind. They are not bound by what seems possible or probable, nor do they require step-by-step explanations. They arrive in ways that the intellect cannot predict, through channels that were never foreseen, and yet they appear with absolute certainty when one surrenders the need to control the process and trusts that the unseen forces are at work. The greatest obstacle to receiving a miracle is the obsession with how and when it will come. The mind, conditioned by years of limitation, seeks to control every detail, demanding a clear, structured path before it can believe. It asks, how will this happen? Where will the opportunity come from? Who will make it possible? How long will it take? In doing so, it strangles the very flow of divine intelligence, reducing the infinite into something that must fit within human understanding. But miracles are not bound by human comprehension. They do not require evidence before they can unfold. They operate beyond the rules of cause and effect, emerging from the vast unseen realm where all possibilities exist. Detachment is the key. When you release your grip on the details, when you stop trying to manipulate circumstances or force outcomes, you create space for the miraculous. You step into the effortless flow of creation, where things align in ways that defy explanation. To detach is not to be indifferent. It is to hold your desire in absolute faith, knowing that it is already done, while refusing to worry about how it will be accomplished. It is a shift from striving to allowing, from effort to ease, from resistance to trust. Consider the way a farmer plants a seed. He does not dig it up every day to check whether it is growing. He does not demand to know the exact moment the sprout will break through the soil. He understands that the process is already in motion, that unseen forces are at work beneath the surface, orchestrating what he cannot see. His role is not to control the growth, but to trust in it. And so it is with your desires. They have already been planted in the unseen realm. Your only task is to trust that they are unfolding, even when nothing appears to be happening. Many struggle with this because they have been conditioned to believe that control is power. They believe that unless they force things to happen, they will never come to pass. But true power is not in force, it is in alignment. The moment you align with the reality of your desire, feeling it as already accomplished, you set in motion forces far greater than human effort. This is why those who try the hardest often struggle the most. They are attempting to create through force rather than surrendering to the effortless intelligence of creation. The mind fears surrender because it mistakes it for passivity. It believes that if it does not constantly do something, nothing will happen. But surrender is not inaction. It is the highest form of action. It is an action of faith, of stepping into the unseen and trusting that the bridge will appear. It is knowing deep within that what you have asked for is already yours, even if there is no physical proof. And when you hold to this knowing, reality bends to match your assumption. This is the path of least resistance, the way of effortless manifestation. When you trust in the unseen, you free yourself from struggle. You no longer wake up with anxiety, wondering if today will be the day your miracle arrives. Instead, you move through life with a quiet certainty that it must come because it already exists. You no longer search for signs because you no longer need them. You simply live in the conviction that all is unfolding perfectly. And when you do this, the miraculous occurs not because you forced it, but because you finally allowed it. The paradox is this: the less you chase, the more effortlessly things come to you. When you release the need to know, the answers appear. When you stop trying to control the timing, events unfold with perfect precision. When you cease asking how, the how is revealed. But this can only happen when you let go. Some of the greatest manifestations occur in moments of absolute surrender. There are those who, after exhausting every effort, finally throw their hands up in surrender, declaring, "I don't know how, I don't know when, but I trust it will happen." And in that very moment, the miracle arrives. Not because they worked harder, but because they released resistance. They stepped out of the way and allowed the unseen forces to do what they were always meant to do. Half asleep in memory, memories obvious to you, half awake, and yet this is the great secret. Your miracle is already prepared for you. It exists in the unseen, waiting for you to align with it. But it cannot reach you while you are gripped with worry, doubt, and the desperate need to control every step. It can only enter when you create space for it, when you relax, trust, and detach from the process. Let go of the how and when and simply know that it is done. Walk in the joy of its fulfillment before you see any evidence. Feel the relief of already having received it. Live in that certainty. And then, when you least expect it, in a way you never could have predicted, the miracle will unfold before you. Gratitude is the bridge between what is unseen and what becomes tangible. It is the key that unlocks the door to miracles, the frequency that aligns you with all that you desire. The moment you express gratitude, not as a hope, but as a certainty, as if what you seek is already yours, you shift your entire reality. You no longer wait for proof. You no longer question whether it is coming. You live in the end in the feeling of already having received, and by doing so, you accelerate the manifestation of your desires. The mind, conditioned by the external world, often waits for evidence before expressing gratitude. It has been taught that thanks should be given after something happens, as a response to receiving. But in the realm of creation, gratitude is not a reaction, it is a cause. When you give thanks before the physical proof arrives, you signal to the unseen forces that you already possess that which you desire. You are not asking, you are acknowledging, you are aligning. And in this state of alignment, the invisible becomes visible with remarkable speed. Consider for a moment the energy of lack and the energy of abundance. When you long for something, when you feel its absence, you vibrate at the frequency of not having. You send a message to the universe that your desire is separate from you, that it is distant, and in doing so you create more separation. But when you step into gratitude, true, deep, unwavering gratitude, you embody the energy of already having received. You move from waiting to knowing, from seeking to being. Gratitude is not mere words, it is a state of consciousness. It is not simply saying, I am grateful, but feeling that gratitude so profoundly that it floods your entire being. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel the joy of knowing your miracle is already yours? Do you move through the day as someone who has already received? This is the secret. The more you cultivate this feeling, the faster your reality shifts to match it. The universe responds to your dominant state of being, not your fleeting thoughts. If you desire something but constantly dwell in doubt, fear, or impatience, you delay its arrival. But if you immerse yourself in gratitude, as if what you want has already materialized, you magnetize it to you with effortless ease. You create a vibrational match between your inner world and the external reality that must follow. Think of a time in your life when something unexpectedly worked out for you. Perhaps it was a situation where you let go of resistance and simply trusted. Perhaps it was a moment when you felt deep appreciation for what you had, and then, almost magically, more arrived. This is not coincidence. This is the power of gratitude in motion. The more you focus on what you already have, the more the universe expands it. The more you express appreciation, the more reasons you are given to appreciate. Many people believe they must struggle for their desires, that they must fight against obstacles and prove themselves worthy before they can receive. But what if the only thing standing between you and your miracle is your ability to recognize that it is already here? What if instead of effort and struggle, all that was required was a shift in perception? To see through the illusion of lack and into the reality of abundance. Gratitude dissolves fear, it silences doubt, it dismantles the illusions of the mind that say it's not here yet, and replaces them with the truth, it is already done. The moment you embrace this, the moment you live in the feeling of already having received, the universe must respond in kind. It is law, it is absolute. This is why those who are deeply grateful seem to receive more and more in life. It is not because they are lucky, it is because they understand the nature of reality. They know that gratitude is the fastest way to shift into the state of having, and so they remain in that state. They do not wait for evidence, they create it through their inner world first. If you desire a miracle, begin now, this very moment, to give thanks for it as if it has already arrived. Feel the relief, the joy, the excitement of knowing that it is done. See yourself as the person who has already received. Move through your day with that energy, that confidence, that deep inner peace. And watch as your world transforms to reflect it. There is nothing to chase, nothing to force. Simply align with the vibration of already having received and let gratitude accelerate what is already making its way to you. The unseen forces are at work. Your only task is to step into the certainty of their fulfillment, and in doing so, you open the floodgates to miracles beyond anything you can imagine. Faith is the force that overrides time. It is not bound by logic, nor does it obey the rules of the physical world. The moment you step into absolute certainty, time bends, collapses, and rearranges itself in accordance with your belief. When you know, not wish, not hope, but know, that what you desire is already yours, the universe has no choice but to reflect that truth. The speed at which your manifestation arrives is not determined by external conditions, but by the level of your conviction. Most people believe time is linear, that things must unfold step by step through a process that takes days, weeks, or even years. But faith does not operate on a timeline. It does not ask how long something will take. It does not analyze whether something is possible. Faith declares that it is already done, and in that declaration, time loses its hold. A miracle that seems like it should take years can happen in a single moment. A door that was firmly shut can swing open without warning. The moment you remove doubt, the delay disappears. Doubt is the only thing that stretches time. When you question, when you wonder if it will happen, when you analyze how it might come to pass, you keep yourself in the waiting state. You push the manifestation into the future because your energy is still entangled with uncertainty. But when you stand in the conviction that it is already yours, you eliminate the gap between desire and fulfillment. You no longer see your goal as something far away. You see it as present, here and now. And reality must adjust to match your certainty. This is why those who have unwavering faith experience instant results. It is not that they are more deserving, nor that they are lucky. It is that they have mastered the art of knowing. They do not entertain opposing thoughts. They do not waver between belief and doubt. They decide, and that decision is final. They walk through life with the confidence of someone who already possesses what they desire. They do not question when it will come, because to them it already has. And because their mind holds no contradiction, the universe delivers without resistance. Faith does not ask for signs. It does not beg for reassurance. It moves with certainty even in the absence of proof. And paradoxically, this very certainty creates the proof. The person who knows they are wealthy carries themselves differently, makes decisions differently, moves through life with a presence that attracts abundance effortlessly. The person who knows they are loved exudes an energy that draws love to them. The person who knows they are successful embodies success before the world can recognize it. And because they embody it, it must manifest. Most people misunderstand faith. They think it means believing despite evidence to the contrary. But true faith does not see obstacles. It does not recognize barriers. It does not acknowledge lack, because to do so would be to accept the illusion that something is missing. True faith exists in the end in the state of already having received. It is a refusal to accept anything less than the desired reality. This is why some manifestations happen instantly. Have you ever thought of someone and they suddenly call or message you? Have you ever needed something and it appeared effortlessly? These are glimpses of how reality bends to your belief when no resistance is present. In those moments, you were not doubting, you were not wondering how it would happen. You simply expected and it arrived. Imagine if you lived in that state all the time. Imagine if every desire was met with that level of certainty. You would move through life as a creator, not a seeker. You would command reality, not chase it. Time is only a factor when doubt exists. The stronger the doubt, the longer the delay. But faith, pure and unwavering, collapses time. It eliminates the waiting. It removes the need for effort. It transforms manifestation from something that happens in the future to something that is now. The moment you decide that it is done, it is. This is the key. Decide and do not waver. Do not check for signs. Do not measure progress. Do not concern yourself with how or when. Simply know. Walk as if it has already happened. Feel the certainty in your bones. Let your actions, your words, your thoughts align with the truth that what you desire is already here. And when you do this, when your faith is absolute, time will bend in your favor. The impossible will become possible. The distant will become immediate. And what once seemed out of reach will appear. Sometimes in the blink of an eye. Everything you seek is already within you, waiting for you to claim it. The moment you shift from wanting to knowing, from wishing to expecting, reality has no choice but to conform. Time, logic, and circumstances do not matter. Only your certainty does. When you assume the end, live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and surrender the how and when, miracles unfold effortlessly. Your imagination shapes your world, gratitude accelerates your manifestations, and unwavering faith collapses time. There is no need to struggle, no need to chase, only the need to become the version of yourself who already has what you desire. So, decide, walk in the knowing that it is already yours. Trust in the unseen forces that are working in your favor. Release doubt, embrace certainty, and watch as reality bends to your belief. The world you desire is not in the future, it is here now, waiting for you to claim it. Thank you. There comes a moment in every life when the old begins to crumble and something new is ready to be born. You may not see it yet, you may not feel it yet, but I tell you, a miracle is unfolding in your favor right now. The mistake most people make is waiting for their circumstances to change before they believe. But this is not how transformation happens. Your miracle does not come when you beg for it. It does not come when you chase it. It comes when you know, when you accept, in the quiet of your mind, that what you desire is already yours. God does not operate by human logic. He does not follow the rules of time and space as you have been taught. You believe in waiting, in struggle, in effort. But I tell you, the moment you shift your inner world, your outer world must follow. You do not need to look for signs. You do not need to ask how it will happen. That is not your concern. The universe is moving in unseen ways, aligning events, shifting people, orchestrating everything, so that your desire finds its way to you. What is required of you? To believe before you see, to walk as though the promise has already been fulfilled, to feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude now. Because when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into the reality where the miracle is already done. God is about to surprise you, not because you begged, not because you fought, but because you finally understood that the miracle was always yours. A shift is happening, the door is opening. All you must do is step into it. Your life is about to change. Are you ready? What you see before you is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of past thoughts, past beliefs, and past assumptions. The world you call real, the circumstances you believe to be fixed, are simply echoes of your former states of mind. But there is something greater, something far more real than what your eyes perceive. It is the unseen realm, the invisible force shaping everything you experience. Most people believe reality is what they can touch, measure, and observe. They live their lives reacting to what appears before them, never realizing that the physical world is merely a projection of their consciousness. They think circumstances dictate their feelings, that external events control their fate, but this is an illusion. The truth is the opposite. What is felt within, what is unseen, determines what eventually manifests in the outer world. Your inner world, your imagination, your assumptions, and your deeply held beliefs is the blueprint from which all things arise. You may look at your life and see limitations, struggles, or lack, but these conditions do not exist independently. They are not solid, immovable facts. They are simply reflections of past states of being. Change your inner world, and the outer world must follow. It has no choice, for it is only a mirror. Consider the way a dream feels while you are within it. You walk through landscapes, speak to people, and experience emotions as though they are real. Yet upon waking, you realize it was all generated by your own consciousness. Your mind created the entire experience. The waking world is no different, though it appears more stable, more persistent. It is, in truth, a prolonged dream. A dream that responds to the dominant ideas you accept as true. Everything you now possess, every situation you find yourself in, was first an unseen idea, a thought held in mind. The house you live in, the job you work at, the relationships you experience, All of it first existed in the realm of the unseen before it materialized in your world. And just as the past shaped the present assumptions you hold are shaping what is to come. If you wish to change your life, you must turn away from appearances. You must stop giving so much weight to what your senses tell you. For if you continue to accept the world as it is, you only perpetuate the same experiences. Instead, shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, what am I assuming to be true? Not just what you say you believe, but what you feel to be real in the quiet moments of your life. Do you believe you are limited? Do you believe change is difficult? Do you believe your dreams are distant and unlikely? If so, this unseen belief is the force holding your current reality in place. But the moment you begin to accept a new assumption, a new inner reality, the world must rearrange itself to reflect it. History is filled with those who understood this truth. Great inventors, artists, and visionaries did not look at the world as it was and take it as final. They saw beyond appearances. They believed in what was not yet seen, held firm to an idea that existed only in their minds, and in doing so they brought it into being. They knew that the unseen was more real than the seen, because they understood that all creation begins in the invisible. The same power lies within you. You do not need external proof to believe in your vision. You do not need permission from the world to assume your highest good. If you can feel it real within, if you can persist in the unseen despite all appearances, then the outer world must conform. It is law. The greatest mistake people make is waiting for evidence before they believe. They say, I will feel wealthy when I have money. I will feel loved when I am in a relationship. I will feel successful when the world recognizes me. But this approach traps them in an endless cycle of waiting. They fail to realize that the feeling must come first, that the unseen must be accepted before the seen can change. Your faith in the unseen is the key. The unseen is not nothing, it is everything. It is the foundation of all that is, the infinite potential from which all forms arise. What you accept as real within will be made real without. And the moment you dare to believe in your unseen vision more than the world of facts, you step into a power few understand. Look beyond what is. Feel beyond what appears. Know that reality is not what has been, but what is becoming through you. And if you can hold firm in that knowing, if you can persist in the unseen, then what you once thought was impossible will become inevitable. There is no future moment when your miracle will suddenly appear. It is not waiting for the right time, nor is it being withheld from you. It exists now in this very moment, waiting for you to accept it as real. The mistake most people make is believing that what they desire is somewhere ahead of them, something to be reached in time. But time is an illusion. The only thing that truly exists is now, and within this now, all possibilities are contained. Most people live in a state of waiting. They wait for circumstances to change, for external validation, for proof that what they want is coming. They look at their current reality and believe it dictates what is possible. But reality does not work that way. The outer world is only a projection of your inner world, a mirror reflecting what you assume to be true. If you continue to assume that your miracle is in the future, it will always remain in the future, just out of reach. Your desire is not something that must be created. It is already created. The moment the desire was born within you, the path to its fulfillment was also born. But you must claim it. You must step into the feeling of already having it, for that is the only way it can move from the unseen into the seen. When you believe something is coming, you are acknowledging its absence. But when you accept it as already yours, when you feel the joy, the relief, the gratitude as though it has already happened, you shift into the state where it must be revealed. You are always living in a state of being. The question is, what state are you occupying? Are you in the state of lack, where you hope and wish for your miracle but do not yet believe in its reality? Or are you in the state of fulfillment, where you rest in the knowing that it is already done, The latter is where true power lies. The future is not something separate from you, it is simply a projection of your current state of mind. Consider how easily you accept the past. You do not question it because you have lived it, experienced it, and know it as fact. But what if you could accept your future fulfillment in the same way? What if instead of seeing it as something distant, you embraced it as something already completed? When you truly accept something as real, it begins to unfold naturally. You no longer feel the need to chase it, to force it, or to worry about when it will come. You simply rest in the knowing that it is already here, already yours. Think of a person who is truly confident. They do not try to prove their confidence, they simply are. Their actions flow effortlessly from their state of being. The same is true for anything you desire. If you assume the state of already having it, your actions, your thoughts, and your emotions will naturally align with that reality. You will no longer act from a place of desperation or lack, but from a place of quiet certainty. And in that certainty, the unseen must become seen. Many believe they must struggle for what they want, that effort and hard work are required to manifest their desires. But effort is only necessary when you believe you must convince reality to give you something. When you understand that what you seek is already yours, struggle is replaced with effortless knowing. You do not need to force the seed to grow. You only need to trust that the process is already in motion. Doubt is the only thing that delays your miracle. When you look at what is and allow it to dictate what you believe, you are reinforcing the very state you wish to leave. But when you persist in the unseen, when you hold firm to the feeling of fulfillment even when your senses tell you otherwise, the world must conform. It has no choice, for it is only reflecting back to you what you accept as true. There is no power outside of you controlling the timing of your blessing. It is not being withheld, delayed, or given on conditions. It is waiting for you to step into it, to claim it as your own. The moment you shift from hoping to knowing, from wanting to having, the moment you feel the reality of your desire is already done, the unseen forces begin to move. Circumstances shift, people are drawn to you, events unfold in ways you could not have predicted. But all of it begins with the acceptance that your miracle exists now, not in some distant future. Stop waiting, stop looking to the world for signs, for validation, for proof that your desire is on its way. Instead, look within, feel it real, accept it as done. And as surely as the sun rises, as surely as night turns into day, the world will rearrange itself to reflect what you have already accepted in the depths of your being. Faith is not a passive longing, nor is it a mere wish for things to change. It is the bridge that connects the unseen with the seen, the desire with its fulfillment. Most people see faith as something fragile, something that wavers in the presence of doubt, but true faith is unwavering. It does not rely on evidence, nor does it wait for confirmation. It knows that what is unseen is more real than what is seen. When you truly desire something, that desire is not random. It is not placed in your heart to torment you with its absence. Desire is the echo of something that already exists in the unseen. The moment you recognize that you want something, you are also being shown that it is possible for you. But whether or not you experience it in the physical world depends entirely on whether you can build the bridge of faith. Faith does not ask when will it come or how will it happen. Faith knows it is already done. It does not struggle or beg. It does not hope in desperation. It stands firm in the absolute conviction that the desired reality already belongs to you. This is where most people falter. They believe their desire is something to be achieved in the future, something they must earn, something that exists outside of them. But this very belief keeps the desire at a distance. They are waiting for proof, waiting for circumstances to change before they allow themselves to believe. But this is backward. Reality is shaped from within. It does not begin in the external world. It begins in the mind, in the heart, in the deep acceptance that what you seek is already yours. Faith is not just thinking positively. It is not simply hoping for the best. It is the deep, unshakable feeling that you already possess what you desire. You must feel it real before it can become real. And this is where many struggle, because they are too attached to what their senses tell them. They look around and see lack, and so they believe in lack. They see delays, and so they believe in delays. But the external world is nothing more than a reflection of past thoughts, past states of being. If you continue to place your faith in what is visible, you will only perpetuate the same experiences. To change your reality, you must shift your faith to the unseen. You must believe in what you cannot yet touch, see, or measure. Faith is not about ignoring reality, it is about creating a new one. It is about stepping into the feeling of already having your desire, of already being the person who possesses it. When you do this, the bridge between desire and reality is complete. The world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new state. Imagine walking into a room filled with people. If you enter with an air of confidence, believing yourself to be someone of value, people respond to you accordingly. If you enter timidly, feeling unworthy, the same room of people will respond to that energy instead. The external world always reflects the internal state. The moment you step into the feeling of fulfillment, your world begins to shift. Many people claim to have faith, but their actions and emotions betray them. They say they believe in their dream, but they speak words of doubt. They claim to trust in their manifestation, but they check for signs, they worry, they question. True faith does not waver. It does not seek proof because it already knows. It is the quiet confidence that does not need validation from the outside world. There is a reason why people who truly believe in themselves seem to achieve impossible things. They do not hope for success, they assume it. They do not wait for permission, they claim it. Their inner world is already convinced, and so the outer world simply follows. This is the essence of faith. Faith is not about forcing things to happen. It is not about struggle or effort. It is about surrendering to the truth that what you desire is already yours. It is about stepping into the feeling of fulfillment and allowing the world to align with that inner conviction. The moment you feel it real, the bridge is built, and reality must follow. Do not wait. Do not look at the world and wonder if your desire will come. Know that it already has. Walk as though it is done, think as though it is done, feel as though it is done, and in that certainty, in that unwavering faith, your world will transform before your eyes. There is never a moment in your life when change is not possible. You are always standing on the brink of transformation, always one shift away from an entirely new reality. But most people do not realize this. They look at their lives and believe that change is a slow, difficult process, something that requires external forces to rearrange before they can step into something new. This belief keeps them stuck, repeating the same experiences, trapped in the illusion that transformation is distant. But the truth is, transformation is immediate. It is not waiting in some far-off future. It is waiting for you to claim it now. At any given moment, you are surrounded by infinite possibilities. Every decision you make, every thought you entertain is moving you in a direction. The question is, are you moving consciously toward what you desire, or are you allowing past beliefs and habits to keep you in the same place? Most people do not realize that they are choosing their reality every single day. They believe life happens to them, that circumstances are outside their control. But life is only ever responding to your state of being. The way you see the world determines what you experience. If you woke up tomorrow and fully believed without a shred of doubt that you are already the person you wish to become, your actions, your energy, and your entire presence would shift. You would walk differently, speak differently, and respond to life from a completely new place. And because the external world is only a reflection of your internal state, the world would have no choice but to rearrange itself to match your new assumption. This is how transformation happens, not over years, not through struggle, but in a single decision to see yourself differently. But here is where most people hesitate. They stand at the edge of transformation, but instead of stepping forward, they look back. They let their past define them. They remember their failures, their disappointments, the times when things didn't go as planned. They let these old memories convince them that change is difficult, that they are not ready, that they are not worthy. But the past has no power unless you give it power. It exists only as a memory, and you are free to release it at any time. The only thing required for transformation is willingness. Are you willing to let go of who you have been? Are you willing to embrace a new version of yourself without waiting for external proof? This is the real challenge, not the difficulty of change, but the willingness to step into the unknown, to trust that a new reality exists, even when you cannot yet see it. You must remember that your mind will always try to keep you in familiar territory. It will tell you that change is unsafe, that it is risky, that it is better to stay where you are. But this is an illusion. The mind clings to the known, even when the known is painful, because it fears uncertainty. Yet all transformation happens in uncertainty. The moment you let go of the need to control every step, the moment you trust that life is moving in your favor, the shift begins. Many people wait for a sign before they believe transformation is happening. They wait for the external world to confirm that change is possible. But that is not how reality works. You must believe first. You must act as though it is already done. And in doing so, you allow the world to reflect back to you what you have already accepted internally. There is a version of you right now who has already stepped into everything you desire. This version exists in potential, waiting for you to claim it. The only thing separating you from that reality is your willingness to see it, to embody it, to stop waiting for something outside of you to give you permission to change. The question remains, are you willing to see it? Are you willing to accept that at this very moment you are standing on the edge of a completely new reality? The door is open, the path is clear. All that is required is your decision to step forward and claim what has always been yours. The human mind is constantly searching for certainty, for a clear path, for a logical explanation of how things will unfold. When we desire something deeply, we immediately begin to calculate, to strategize, to figure out how it will come to pass. But this is where so many people go wrong. The path to your miracle is not yours to determine. It is not your job to force the unfolding of events or to control every detail. Your only role is to trust fully, completely, and without hesitation that divine intelligence is already at work, orchestrating everything in ways you cannot yet see. God moves in ways that defy human understanding. The mind is limited by past experiences, by what seems logical, by what appears possible. But the divine is not bound by these limitations. What seems impossible to you is effortless for God. What seems delayed to you is perfectly timed in the grand design of things. When you try to control the how, you are operating from a place of doubt. You are telling yourself that unless you can see the way, it does not exist. But faith does not work that way. Faith is trusting that the way is already made, even when you cannot see a single step ahead. So many people block their own blessings because they are attached to a specific method of receiving them. They have a rigid idea of how their miracles should unfold, who it should come through, when it should arrive. And when things do not happen according to their expectations, they assume that nothing is happening at all. But this is an illusion. Just because you do not see movement does not mean movement is not occurring. The roots of a tree grow beneath the surface long before you see the first sprout. The foundation of a building is laid long before the structure rises above the ground. The same is true of your desires. If you constantly check for signs, if you doubt when things take longer than expected, you are interfering with the process. Imagine planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it is growing. It cannot take root that way. In the same manner, when you obsess over how your miracle will come, You are not allowing divine intelligence to work freely. Your job is to trust, to surrender, to release the need to control. Miracles happen in unexpected ways. What seems like a random event is often divine alignment in disguise. The right person appears, a door you never considered opens, a setback turns out to be a blessing in disguise. But if you are too focused on forcing things to happen in a specific way, you might miss these signs altogether. You might overlook the opportunity because it does not look the way you expected it to. This is why surrender is so powerful. Surrender does not mean giving up. It does not mean doing nothing. It means letting go of resistance, letting go of the need to force things, and instead aligning yourself with the certainty that all is unfolding in perfect order. It means shifting your focus from how to knowing that God is already making a way, knowing that what is meant for you cannot miss you, knowing that your only job is to remain open, to walk in faith, to trust in the unseen. Many people say they trust in God, but their actions reveal otherwise. They worry, they doubt, they try to take matters into their own hands. But trust means resting in the assurance that even if nothing seems to be happening, everything is happening beneath the surface. The right people are being positioned, the right circumstances are being arranged, the right timing is being prepared. Look back on your life and you will see that some of the greatest blessings came in ways you never could have predicted. Some of your biggest breakthroughs came after what you thought was failure. Some of the people who changed your life the most came into your world unexpectedly. This is proof that God is always working in ways beyond your understanding. So do not limit yourself by trying to dictate the path. Do not block your own miracle by insisting that it must come in a certain way. Let go, trust, walk forward as if it is already done, because in the unseen it already is. What is meant for you is already set in motion. The divine plan is unfolding perfectly, in ways you cannot predict but will one day look back on in awe. Most people spend their lives waiting for circumstances to change, waiting for a sign, waiting for the right opportunity before they allow themselves to feel joy, peace, and gratitude. But this is the great misunderstanding of life. You are not meant to wait for your desires to manifest before you feel the emotions of fulfillment. You are meant to feel them now. This is the key, the great secret, to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled before it becomes visible in your external world. Everything in your life is a reflection of your inner state. Your external world is only a mirror, responding to the assumptions, emotions, and beliefs you hold within. If you continue to feel lack, doubt, and frustration, you will see more of those conditions reflected back to you. But if you assume the state of already having what you desire, if you dwell in the feeling of joy, relief, and gratitude as though your wish is already accomplished, then reality must shift to match that inner state. This is not wishful thinking. This is not pretending. It is stepping into the truth that creation is already finished. That the moment you accept something as real within, it begins to unfold in your experience. Most people believe they must first see change before they can believe in it. But the truth is the opposite. You must first believe in it, you must feel it before you will ever see it. Imagine for a moment that your greatest desire has already come to pass. Close your eyes and place yourself in that reality. If you were living that life right now, how would you feel? What emotions would flood your being? Would you feel relief knowing the struggle is over? Would you feel joy knowing that everything has worked out in your favor? Would you feel gratitude for the blessing you have received? Hold on to that feeling. Let it fill you. Let it become real to you now, not as something you hope for in the future, but as something that already belongs to you. This is how you bring it into being. When you walk through life with the deep, unshakable feeling that your desire is already yours, everything begins to rearrange to make it so. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances will flow to you effortlessly, not because you are chasing them, but because you have become a vibrational match for them. Most people chase after their desires from a place of lack. They constantly think about what they do not have, reinforcing the feeling that their wish is still far away. and in doing so they push it further from them. But the person who lives in the feeling of the wish fulfilled has no need to chase. They are already in possession of what they desire inwardly, and so it must come to them outward. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude is not just a reaction to receiving something. It is a state of being that magnetizes blessings to you. When you give thanks now, as though you have already received, you are confirming your belief in the unseen. You are declaring to the universe, to God, that you trust in the reality of your wish fulfilled. And in that trust, the unseen becomes seen. Many people ask, how long do I need to feel this way before my desire appears? But this question reveals doubt. The person who truly lives in the feeling of the wish fulfilled does not ask when, because they already feel it as done. They no longer look for signs or proof. They simply live in the knowing that it is theirs. And because they do, it must become their reality. Your current conditions do not matter. They are only a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. They hold no power unless you continue to give them power. The moment you shift your state, the moment you assume the feeling of already having what you desire, everything begins to change. So do not wait for circumstances to convince you. Do not wait for external evidence before you allow yourself to feel the joy, relief, and gratitude of your fulfilled wish. Feel it now, walk in it now, live in it now, and as surely as the sun rises, your world will transform to match the truth you have accepted within. Everything you desire already exists. The unseen world is more real than the seen, and the moment you accept your wish as fulfilled within, it begins to take form in your life. Faith is the bridge between your desire and reality. When you trust completely, without doubt, the path unfolds in ways you cannot predict. You are always standing on the brink of transformation. But it is up to you to step into it, to see it, to accept it as already done. God is working behind the scenes, arranging everything in perfect order. Your role is not to question or control the how, but to surrender and trust. Live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Assume the state of joy, relief, and gratitude as though your miracle has already happened, because in the unseen, it already has. Hold on to this truth. Walk in it daily and watch as life shifts in your favor. Your miracle is not in the future, it is now. It is already yours. Thank you, and may you step into the fullness of all that is meant for you. There is no need to plead, no need to force, and no need to chase. What is meant for you will recognize you without struggle. You must understand this truth. Life is not about grasping onto what slips away. It is about surrendering to what naturally aligns. The moment you hold on to what does not choose you, you affirm lack. You declare to the universe that you are not enough as you are. But I tell you this, you are more than enough. When a door closes, it is not rejection, it is redirection. The mind, bound by fear, clings to what is familiar, but the spirit knows better. The Spirit is always guiding you towards something greater. Will you trust it? Ask yourself, why do you chase? Why do you beg for something that does not see your worth? If you truly knew who you were, you would never force anything. You would walk away with confidence, knowing that something far more aligned is already finding its way to you. Detach, release, step back. Watch how the universe rearranges itself when you stop grasping. What is truly yours cannot be lost, but what is not meant for you will only drain your energy, keep you in cycles of doubt, and delay your true blessings. The key is silence. No arguments, no explanations, just the quiet power of knowing who you are. Let go, not with resentment, but with certainty. You are the prize. You are the chooser. And the moment you step into that truth, the world will bend in your favor. Make a decision, release what does not choose you, not out of anger, not out of pain, but out of absolute knowing. What is truly yours will always find its way. There is a fundamental truth woven into the fabric of existence. The more you chase, the more what you desire runs from you. This is not merely a concept, but an unchanging law of life. The very act of pursuit implies lack, and in affirming lack, you push what you desire further away. What is truly meant for you does not require force, nor does it need relentless effort or desperate grasping. It aligns with you naturally, effortlessly, in perfect harmony. But when you find yourself chasing, when you find yourself striving to hold on to something that resists, it is not a sign to try harder. It is a sign to let go. Think of the wind. You cannot catch it in your hands. The tighter you grasp, the more it slips through your fingers. The same principle applies to anything in life, whether it be love, success, opportunities, or even a sense of inner peace. The energy of chasing suggests that you believe what you desire is separate from you, outside of you, beyond your reach. But this is the greatest illusion. The moment you internalize the belief that something is missing, you reinforce its absence. You become trapped in a cycle of seeking, always looking outward for validation, for approval, for the fulfillment you believe is elsewhere. And in doing so, you unknowingly affirm to the universe that you do not already possess what you seek. Consider love. When you chase a person, when you seek their validation, their approval, their affection, you place them on a pedestal. You send a message, both to yourself and to them, that they hold power over you. You make them the source of your fulfillment. And yet, paradoxically, this energy repels rather than attracts. Have you ever noticed how those who are self-assured, those who do not seek, often seem to magnetize attention effortlessly? It is because they do not chase. They embody a state of knowing that what is meant for them will come. They do not need to run after it. The same is true for wealth. If you constantly chase money, believing it is scarce, that it is difficult to attain, that you must struggle and suffer to obtain it, you will find yourself always working harder but never feeling abundant. The energy of lack only creates more lack. But the ones who see money as flowing effortlessly, as already present, as something they are worthy of without struggle, these are the ones who attract it with ease. Their very mindset creates the conditions for wealth to move toward them. They do not chase it, and so it finds them. What you seek is always responding to the energy you embody. The reason things seem to run from you is not because they are unattainable, but because your act of chasing creates resistance. It places a barrier between you and what you desire. Imagine a river. When you try to force the water in a certain direction, you disrupt its natural flow. But when you allow it to move freely, it reaches its destination effortlessly. The same applies to the things you desire in life. If you allow them to come in their own time, in their own way, they will arrive with ease. But if you chase, if you force, if you resist the natural unfolding, you create unnecessary struggle. The key is to embody the energy of already having, to walk with the confidence that what is meant for you is already making its way into your life, to trust that you do not need to chase because nothing truly yours will ever require pursuit. This is not passivity, it is alignment. It is the conscious decision to step into a state of certainty rather than desperation. It is choosing to know rather than to doubt. You must ask yourself, what are you chasing? Are you chasing love? Are you chasing success? Are you chasing external validation? And if so, why? What within you believes that these things are separate from you? The moment you realize that you do not need to seek, that you do not need to prove, that you do not need to convince, this is the moment you become magnetic. It may feel counterintuitive at first. After all, society teaches that effort is required, that striving is necessary, that the only way to get what you want is to run toward it with all your strength. But the truth is, life responds not to force, but to energy. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you believe is already yours. Let go of the need to prove yourself. Let go of the idea that you must fight for what is meant to be. Instead, turn inward. Shift your focus from the external to the internal. Cultivate the belief that everything you seek is already within you, already on its way, already unfolding in divine timing. When you stop chasing, you allow life to flow as it is meant to. You create space for what is truly meant for you to arrive effortlessly. And the beauty of it is this: what is meant for you will never run. It will never require force. It will never demand that you become something you are not. It will simply align because it was always yours to begin with. Rejection is not the end. It is not a sign that you are unworthy or that you have failed. It is in truth a redirection, a shift in the course of your life that is guiding you towards something far greater than you can currently perceive. When something or someone does not choose you, when a door closes despite your efforts, it is not an indication that you have lost, but rather a sign that something better is preparing to take its place. Yet, in the moment of rejection, it is easy to feel disheartened, to believe that you are being denied what you deeply desire. But life does not take from you without reason. Life does not close one door without preparing another to open. The unseen orchestration of events is always working in your favor, even when it does not seem that way. What you believe is a loss may in time reveal itself as a blessing. What you once thought was essential to your happiness may have in reality been a limitation. You cannot always see the larger plan while standing in the midst of disappointment. But if you learn to trust, if you learn to surrender rather than resist, you will begin to understand that rejection is not a punishment, it is a necessary realignment. Consider the moments in your life when you wanted something so desperately, when you believed that a particular outcome was the only path to fulfillment. And yet, despite your desire, it did not happen. The opportunity was given to someone else. The person you longed for chose another direction. The plan you so carefully constructed fell apart before your eyes. In those moments, it may have felt like an injustice, like a cruel twist of fate. But now, looking back, can you not see how things unfolded exactly as they needed to? Can you not see how what once felt like rejection was in fact a redirection towards something better, something more aligned, something you never could have imagined at the time? The mind is limited in its ability to perceive the vastness of life's possibilities. It clings to what is familiar, to what seems logical, to what appears to be the best option based on the present circumstances. But there is a greater intelligence at play, a force that sees beyond what you can currently understand. When something does not choose you, it is not a reflection of your worth, but rather a sign that this path was never truly yours. It was never meant to hold your destiny. And when you fight against that truth, when you resist the natural flow of life, you only prolong your own suffering. The greatest freedom comes in letting go of what does not choose you with grace. Instead of asking, "Why didn't this work out for me?" shift your perspective and ask, "What is life preparing me for?" This shift in awareness changes everything. It allows you to see rejection not as a barrier, but as a doorway, a passage leading to something greater than you originally envisioned. Trusting in the unseen orchestration of life requires faith, but it is a faith that is always rewarded. The more you let go of attachment to specific outcomes, the more you allow life to move through you effortlessly. You no longer cling to what is not meant for you, and in doing so you make space for what is. You open yourself to opportunities that would have otherwise remained unseen. You allow the right people, the right experiences, and the right circumstances to align with you in perfect timing. Think of the times you tried to force something to work, whether it was a relationship, a career path, or a situation that you desperately wanted to succeed. The harder you held on, the more resistance you created. And yet, when you finally let go, when you released the need to control the outcome, things began to shift. clarity emerged, new possibilities arose. What once felt like a loss transformed into an open space for something far more fulfilling. Rejection is not personal. It is not a measure of your value. It is simply life guiding you toward where you are truly meant to be. And the moment you embrace this truth, the moment you stop seeing rejection as an obstacle and start viewing it as divine redirection, everything changes. You step into a state of trust. You no longer mourn closed doors, because you understand that what is behind them was never meant to contain your future. What is truly meant for you will never reject you. It will never require you to force, to chase, or to convince. It will align effortlessly because it was always yours. So the next time something does not choose you, do not despair. Do not dwell in disappointment. Instead, step back, breathe, and remind yourself, something greater is waiting to enter. Trust that life knows exactly where you belong, and when the time is right, you will see why everything had to unfold the way it did. The world you experience is not separate from you, it is a reflection of you. Every situation, every relationship, and every opportunity that enters your life is a mirror of your inner state. If you hold on to what does not choose you, if you cling to what resists you, it is a signal of a deeper belief that you are unworthy of something better. The outer world is always responding to the vibration of your inner world. When you shift your internal state, when you release what does not serve you and step into the knowing that you are enough, the world around you begins to reflect that transformation. Many people chase after what rejects them, not because they truly want it, but because they believe that having it will validate them. They think that if they can make someone love them, if they can force an opportunity to materialize, then they will finally feel worthy. But this is an illusion. No external achievement, no person, and no recognition can ever give you what you refuse to give yourself. If you operate from a place of lack, from a place of needing to prove your worth, life will continue to bring you situations that reinforce that belief. Consider for a moment the energy of someone who knows their worth. They do not beg, they do not chase, and they do not plead for what is not naturally aligning with them. They understand that their value is inherent, and they move through life with an unshakable confidence that what is meant for them will come. They do not waste energy trying to hold on to what does not choose them, because they know that what resists them is not meant for them. The moment they sense something is not reciprocated, they walk away, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. And what happens? The world mirrors their belief. The right opportunities, the right people, and the right circumstances begin to appear effortlessly because they are operating from a place of inner alignment. Contrast this with someone who doubts their worth. They chase, they cling, and they try to convince others of their value. They stay in situations that drain them because they believe that is all they deserve. And what does the world do? It mirrors that belief back to them. They attract relationships where they are undervalued, jobs where they are unappreciated, and situations where they feel unseen. Not because life is cruel, but because life is responding to the energy they are putting out. Your outer world cannot change until you change your inner world. You cannot expect to be chosen if deep down you do not choose yourself. You cannot expect to be loved fully if you do not love yourself fully. The moment you begin to shift your self-perception, the moment you stop tolerating less than what you deserve, the world has no choice but to adjust accordingly. It is a law just as real as gravity. If you find yourself holding on to what does not choose you, ask yourself, why am I settling? Why am I fighting for something that is resisting me? What belief am I holding on to that makes me think I do not deserve better? The answers to these questions will reveal the unconscious patterns running your life. And once you see them, you have the power to change them. Changing your inner world requires a conscious decision to see yourself differently. It requires a commitment to stop accepting less. You must replace the belief of I am not enough with the truth that you are more than enough. You must stop seeing rejection as proof of your unworthiness and start seeing it as a divine redirection toward what is truly meant for you. When you do this, the shift is immediate. You no longer seek approval, you no longer try to force what does not flow, you become magnetic. People sense the change in you. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to align effortlessly. You attract what matches your new belief system because life is always reflecting you back to yourself. The world outside of you is not controlling you, it is responding to you. If you do not like what you see, do not try to change the world, change yourself. Shift your beliefs, raise your standards, let go of anything and anyone that does not see your value. The moment you do, life will rearrange itself to meet you at the level of your new self-worth. Detachment is not about indifference, nor is it about giving up. It is the ultimate power because it frees you from the illusion of control. The moment you let go, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, you create space for what is truly meant for you to enter. You stop clinging, you stop chasing, and you stop resisting the natural flow of life. And in that surrender, you find your greatest strength. Many people believe that holding on tightly to something ensures its presence in their lives. They think that the more they fight for something, the more likely they are to keep it. But the opposite is true. The more you cling, the more you suffocate what you desire. The energy of attachment is one of desperation, fear, and lack. It tells the universe that you do not trust, that you believe you must control everything in order to receive what you want. And so, life responds to that energy by pushing what you seek further away. It is an act of trust. It is the understanding that you do not need to force, chase, or manipulate in order to receive what is rightfully yours. It is the deep knowing that what aligns with you will come effortlessly, and what does not align was never meant to stay. The moment you release the need to control the outcome, you make room for something better than you imagined. To detach emotionally means to free yourself from the burden of needing a specific result in order to feel complete. It is recognizing that your happiness is not dependent on any one person, opportunity, or circumstance. When you attach your emotional well-being to an external source, you place your power outside of yourself. You make your joy conditional. But when you detach, you reclaim your power. You realize that your inner state is independent of what happens outside of you. You are no longer at the mercy of what chooses you or leaves you. You stand firm in the truth that your worth is not defined by what you have or do not have. Mental detachment is equally essential. The mind has a tendency to obsess, to overanalyze, and to create endless stories about why things are or are not working out. It clings to ideas, expectations, and rigid plans. It convinces you that if things do not unfold in a specific way, then something is wrong. But life is far too vast to be confined to the limitations of the mind's expectations. True freedom comes when you let go of the need to know how everything will unfold. You stop overthinking, you stop worrying, and you trust that the unseen forces of life are always working in your favor, even when you cannot see the full picture. Spiritual detachment is the highest form of surrender. It is understanding that your path is divinely orchestrated, that nothing is truly lost, and that every shift in your life is guiding you toward your highest good. When you detach spiritually, you stop fearing change. You stop resisting endings because you know they are merely transitions into something greater. You no longer hold on to people, places, or things out of fear of losing them. Instead, you trust that what is meant for you will remain and what is not meant for you will fall away naturally. The power of detachment is seen most clearly in relationships. When you love from a place of attachment, you place conditions on that love. You fear losing the person, so you cling, you overgive, and you try to control the dynamic. This energy pushes them away. But when you love with detachment, you allow the person to be free. You do not try to hold them tighter in an attempt to keep them close. You trust that if the connection is meant to flourish, it will do so effortlessly. And if it is not, you let it go with grace, knowing that something better aligned is on the way. The same principle applies to opportunities, dreams, and desires. The more desperate you are to attain something, the more elusive it becomes. But when you release the need, when you step back and trust that the right opportunities will find you at the right time, life begins to unfold in your favor. You no longer grasp for success, you attract it. You no longer beg for abundance, you embody it. Detachment is not about inaction. It is about inspired action. It is about moving toward your goals with confidence while remaining open to life's redirections. It is about putting in the effort but not forcing the outcome. It is about knowing your worth so deeply that you do not settle, chase, or plead for anything to stay in your life. You trust that what is truly meant for you cannot be lost. When you master detachment, you master yourself. You stop being controlled by circumstances. You stop being emotionally drained by people who do not see your value. You stop fearing the unknown. You become unshakable. And in that state of freedom, life begins to align with you in ways you never imagined. You receive effortlessly because you are no longer blocking the flow with resistance. Let go. Trust. And watch as everything that is truly meant for you finds its way into your life without struggle. You are the prize. Not something to be chased, not something to be negotiated over, not something to be diminished for the sake of being chosen. The moment you realize this, your entire reality will shift. The way you see yourself will change, and in turn, the way the world responds to you will transform. People give their power away in the hope of being seen, being loved, being valued. They lower their standards, shrink themselves, and accept less than they deserve just to feel chosen. But what they fail to see is that in doing so, they send a message, not only to the world, but to themselves, that they are not enough as they are, that they must prove, convince, or beg to be valued. But this is an illusion. No one outside of you has the authority to define your worth. No relationship, no job, no circumstance holds the power to determine how valuable you are. Your worth is inherent. It is unshakable. It does not increase when someone chooses you, nor does it decrease when they walk away. You do not need to chase what does not see your value. You do not need to seek approval from those who fail to recognize your light. The desire to be accepted is natural, but when it comes at the cost of your self-respect, it becomes self-betrayal. It is not your job to convince anyone to value you. The moment you start believing you must prove yourself, you have already forgotten who you are. You are not meant to beg for attention, to mold yourself to fit into someone else's vision, or to settle for less than what your soul knows you deserve. When you see yourself as the prize, you stop asking, "Am I good enough?" and instead ask, "Is this situation, this person, this opportunity worthy of me?" You shift from a place of seeking to a place of choosing. You stop chasing and start attracting. You move from desperation to discernment. And in that shift, everything changes. The world reflects back to you the way you see yourself. If you carry doubt, insecurity, or the belief that you must earn love or validation, then that is exactly what you will experience. You will attract situations that reinforce those beliefs. You will find yourself in relationships where you feel unseen, in jobs where you feel undervalued, in friendships that drain you rather than uplift you. Not because you are not worthy, but because you have not yet stepped into the truth of your worth. But when you embody the knowing that you are enough, without needing to prove, without needing to convince, the energy shifts. You radiate confidence. You hold yourself to a higher standard. You no longer entertain what does not honor you. And as a result, you draw in experiences that match that energy. You attract relationships that recognize your value, opportunities that align with your true self, and a life that reflects the deep self-worth you have cultivated within. Stepping into this mindset requires letting go of old patterns. It requires breaking free from the conditioning that taught you that your worth is tied to external validation. It means no longer tolerating half-hearted efforts, mixed signals, or anything that makes you question your value. It means refusing to settle for breadcrumbs when you deserve the whole feast. This is not arrogance, it is not entitlement, it is self-respect. It is the understanding that you are a divine being, worthy of love, respect, and abundance. It is knowing that you do not have to settle for lukewarm connections, unfulfilling relationships, or situations that leave you doubting yourself. It is choosing to walk away from anything that does not meet you with the same energy you bring to the table. When you truly embrace the fact that you are the prize, you stop fearing loss. You do not cling to what is not meant for you. You do not beg for people to stay. You do not lower your standards in the hope that someone will finally see your worth. You stand firm in your value, knowing that what is meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself to keep it. The right people, the right opportunities, the right experiences. They will recognize your worth effortlessly. They will meet you at the level you stand in. They will not make you question yourself, nor will they require you to become less, just to fit into their world. But for those things to enter your life, you must first align with that knowing. You must first stop seeking approval from what does not value you. Every time you find yourself trying to prove your worth to someone, pause. Ask yourself, why am I seeking validation from this? Is it because you believe you need it to feel enough? Is it because you fear being alone? Is it because you have been conditioned to think that being chosen by others gives you value? The truth is, nothing outside of you can give you the worth you already possess. You do not need to be accepted by everyone. You do not need to be liked by all. Your worth is not up for debate. Stop waiting for permission to see yourself as enough. Stop seeking from the outside what has always been within you. The moment you fully embrace your value, the world will have no choice but to respond accordingly. You are the prize. Not everyone will see it, not everyone will appreciate it, and that is okay. The right ones will. The ones who are meant to walk this journey with you will recognize your worth without you having to prove it. The opportunities that align with you will arrive effortlessly. The love that is meant for you will never leave you feeling unworthy. Silence is powerful. It is not weakness, nor is it surrender. It is a statement stronger than words, a declaration of self-respect, and a refusal to engage in anything that diminishes your worth. When you truly understand the power of silence, you no longer feel the need to beg, convince, or prove your value to anyone. You realize that walking away gracefully is the greatest response you can give to anything or anyone that does not honor you. Many people believe that if they just say the right words, if they just explain a little better, if they just prove their worth a little harder, then things will change. They hold on to relationships that have already faded, chase people who have already made their decision, and argue for their place in spaces that no longer welcome them. But words, no matter how passionate, cannot change what is already known deep within. If someone values you, they will not need convincing. If something is meant for you, it will not require force. It is your way of saying, I know my worth. It is your way of refusing to entertain what does not choose you. It is the quiet confidence that speaks louder than any plea, louder than any argument, louder than any desperate attempt to hold on to something that is slipping away. When you walk away in silence, you shift the energy entirely. You are no longer in a position of seeking. You are no longer trying to prove anything. You are simply choosing yourself. The most powerful shifts happen when you stop responding to what does not deserve your energy. The moment you stop explaining yourself to those who do not listen, the moment you stop chasing those who are not running toward you, the moment you stop trying to prove your worth to those who fail to see it, you reclaim your power, and when you do, life responds in your favor. People who did not appreciate you suddenly start noticing your absence. Situations that once drained you begin to lose their hold over you. The energy that was once tied up in seeking validation is now freed to attract what is truly meant for you. This is the power of silence. It creates space. It removes you from anything that no longer serves you. And in doing so, It makes room for what is aligned with your true self. It is not always easy to remain silent. The ego wants to defend, to explain, to fight for recognition. It wants to be heard, to be understood, to be validated. But true strength is found in knowing when words are unnecessary. It is found in understanding that the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances will never require you to overextend yourself just to be seen. Walking away gracefully does not mean you do not care. It does not mean you are unaffected. It simply means you respect yourself enough to let go of what does not honor you. It means you trust that what is truly meant for you will never require you to compromise your dignity. It means you believe that life has something better in store, even if you cannot see it yet. When you choose silence over unnecessary conflict, you also free yourself from emotional exhaustion. Arguing, proving, convincing, these things drain your energy. They keep you stuck in cycles that do not serve you. But when you walk away, when you remove yourself without resistance, you regain your peace. You shift from needing external validation to finding strength within. And in that space of inner calm, new doors begin to open. Silence does not mean you suppress your emotions. It does not mean you ignore your feelings. It means you process them in a way that does not require outside approval. It means you allow yourself to feel, to heal, and to grow. Without needing an audience, without needing someone else to acknowledge your pain or your worth. When you embrace the power of silence, you also cultivate a deep sense of trust in yourself and in the flow of life. You no longer feel the need to control every outcome. You no longer cling to what is leaving. You no longer chase what is not running toward you. Instead, you surrender to the knowing that what is meant for you will always find its way to you. Without force, without struggle, without desperation. People who do not see your worth when you are present will recognize it when you are gone. Not because you begged them to, not because you convinced them, but because your absence spoke the truth they failed to see before. And by the time they realize it, you will have already moved on, already stepped into a new chapter, already embraced the life that was waiting for you beyond what you once clung to. You do not need to beg for love. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to fight for a place in someone's life. The moment you feel the need to convince someone of your value, that is the moment you must step back and remember who you are. Your worth is not dependent on their recognition. Your value is not determined by the ability to see it. Silence is not about playing games. It is not about manipulation. It is about self-respect. It is about knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on anything that does not uplift, appreciate, or choose you. It is about walking away, not with anger, not with resentment, but with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they deserve better. And when you do this, when you choose yourself over seeking validation, life begins to work in your favor. Opportunities align effortlessly. Relationships that truly honor you begin to appear. Peace replaces anxiety. Confidence replaces desperation. And you step into a reality that reflects your true worth. Let your silence speak for you. Let it be the answer to anything that does not value you. Let it be the boundary that protects your peace. Let it be the proof that you no longer settle for less than you deserve. And watch as life responds in ways you never imagined possible. The essence of true power lies not in chasing, convincing, or proving, but in knowing your worth and walking away from anything that does not honor it. What runs from you is not meant for you. Rejection is not loss, but divine redirection. Your inner world shapes your outer reality, and detachment frees you to receive what is truly aligned with you. When you embrace silence, you step into your greatest strength, one that commands respect without a single word. You are the prize. You are not here to beg for love, for attention, or for a place in someone's life. You are here to stand in the knowing that you are enough, just as you are. The moment you let go of what does not choose you, life opens doors to what truly does. Trust the unseen orchestration of your journey. Walk forward with grace, with certainty, and with faith. What is truly yours will never require you to lose yourself to have it. Thank you.